correctly, hopefully, and be live everywhere on the webs, the interwebs. All right, well, we're going to get started here in just a moment with a sort of setting up and getting started with World Ablaze here. Let me just open this can of Coke. All right, and hello, Holiday Punch. Yes, set the world ablaze. That's both what really happened and a play on the title of the mod that we're looking at. And Sir Toyjet is here as well. Very good. And of course, we're going to be looking at Germany here. I'll explain what, why, and everything, I guess, right about now as I start making an episode here. Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745, and I hope you're all a fan of Hearts of Iron 4. And if you're not already a fan of the World Ablaze mod, maybe you'll become one as we take a look at this. This is going to be a setting up, getting started type episode. We're going to go through these various economic changes, so both you and I understand them, because they do change the game in, I would say, mostly good ways. And so we will be taking looks at all of that. All right, World Ablaze is a historical total overhaul mod that changes almost all of the game mechanics, expands them, and adds a tougher AI. The mod is meant to be run alone. Only cosmetic music and official submods will work properly when enabled alongside. Yeah, we're just playing with World Ablaze. Missing 2 of the DLCs even to play this mod, so watching is all I can do for now. Okay, now I am not sure. I have, I think, all of the Holiday Punch here saying that I'm missing 2 of the DLCs to even play this mod. So maybe Holiday Punch has looked into it. I have, I think, all of the main DLCs for Hoi 4 except the Balkans one. Now, do realize, and this is, I'm going to say again, I don't know specifically for, and Uncharted is the main developer, is not here, and you can check with their forum on Discord. I would say would probably be best if you're needed, because there's both what Paradox releases is both a paid DLC that adds things like new focus trees, and then there's free mechanics. Now, I don't know, maybe the spies are one of the ones that may be required for this. I don't know what is required. Waking Tiger, No Step Back, and Man the Guns. Okay, so maybe it does use the actual parts of the DLC and not just the free parts of the free DLC versus the paid DLC. So I do not know Holiday Punch. And yeah, and some of those things, some of those DLCs are getting cheaper, so which helps by it. Most of the changes are easy to notice. Okay, so we're going to be looking here, and I've taken a brief look at this before this, but not played any of it, and I already have comments to make. Okay. Economy fatigue, I would say it's economic, would be probably economy economy fatigue is a new system to World Ablaze. Spot already had walking the tiger. Okay. System to World Ablaze. It represents inflation, large government spending, and shrinking civilian economy. Economic manpower and trade laws now greatly provide economy fatigue, which reduces construction speed and eventually stability and factory output. They also give a weekly penalty to war support to combat this. There are more decisions and ministries you can invest in. The best strategy is to make your wars quick and demobilize after the war. It is natural to have economic fatigue when militarizing your economy, and it should not be something you should try and keep at zero. The following are the main ways decreasing economic fatigue. Focuses: war bonds, available when at war. Decisions: most are available only when at war. Lowering your laws, only as last resort if close to 100% economic fatigue. Stay on partial mobilization will cause your fatigue to go from 0 to 100 in 24 years. Okay, war economy is 12 and total mobilization is 6. Be aware that focuses can also increase fatigue. All right. This is one area that I have in Uncharted. Again, I like Uncharted. This is not a personal attack. Sometimes internet beef can be good for both sides, but this is not something like that. I've talked to him about this. And he is not wrong. In fact, I think he's correct in economic fatigue. Now, I look at this game, Hearts of Iron 4, or Hearts of Iron, shall we say, more so than maybe Hearts of Iron 4, but Hearts of Iron to be a 10-year span of a game that starts in 36, with a war starting close to the end of 39, the beginning of 1940, lasting until approximately 1946. That should, determine success or failure in the game. And hello, Arno. Good to have you here. So, not a 20 or 30-year game, playing into the 1950s, into the 1960s or something like that, but playing for that 10-year from approximately 1936 to approximately 1946. Either the Allies should be defeating Germany by 1946, or Germany, if doing very well, is maybe not conquered America or something by 1946, has basically won the game by that point. In that time frame, and he does talk about like war bonds and decisions and various other aspects to reduce your economic fatigue. I will say most nations by 1945 were economically exhausted. So he's not wrong, but I just don't think that this should be a major factor in the game that I described. Again, if you're looking at a 12 years of war or 24 years of war, yeah, he's right. If we're talking sort of an endless war here. Hey, Niagro. We'll talk about crisis report some other time. It's going to continue, don't worry, but don't want to get into it right now. So, and I don't, and they talk about as the fatigue grows in your nation, it disrupts things. And I don't know, whether it's building new factories or it's, producing tanks. I don't know that is a real factor. At least I don't think it is. But so this is one area that I think is not terrible, but not an area that I'm entirely in agree with. Hello, amazing Greg Digger? Is that, I have that right, Greg Digger? Thank you. I will try to have a nice stream. Okay, changes to the industry. Let's take a look here. Okay, military and civilian factories had their output halved, but in return you get double the amount of said factories. For most nations, naval dockyards and military factories require coal, while civilian factories require one steel. Now, I very much agree with this. I think the game improves with a more granular industry count, in that I don't need to, shall we say, buy as, you need to use X number of, one factory gets you 10 imports or something like that of a particular thing. It's changed over time. But you only need 5 of them. Well, why am I wasting a whole factory on 5 whatever, imported? It would be better to have it more granular. And I think that's the way to go, and I think that's a very good change. But okay, Niagara, I understand. Keep supplied. So I agree with this change to the game, very much so. Steel versus coal, we could talk about, but we'll see. To accompany this, the max civilian construction count is 20 for each new building. Right. New resources have also been added, which include bauxite, coal, and iron. Yes, steel, which is a combination of coal and iron, is a product, and aluminum, which is a product of bauxite and massive amounts of electricity. You need electricity, not just heat. It's specifically electricity that is used in the process of transmuting bauxite into alumina, then into aluminum, the metal. So I'm not sure how much that helps the game versus just having aluminum and steel production in the game, but it's not wrong. It's not wrong. I just sometimes, is the granularity an improvement or just a complication? I'm not sure. We'll see in playing this how I feel. 3 new buildings to accompany these resources. Aluminum smelter uses bauxite and coal to make aluminum. Yeah, I guess coal you're using in essence to generate electricity. Hydropower aluminum smelters use bauxite to produce aluminum, but are more expensive than aluminum smelter. Okay, so water powered, like dams. Excuse me. Steel mill uses iron and coal to produce steel. Infrastructure also no longer boosts the amount of steel and aluminum you get from a state as they come from these factories. And I want to go back because I also wanted to look at changes to the tech tree here. Each major nation has a unique tank, air, navy, and artillery tech tree that all have their historical stats for their equipment. Minor nations who have the generic air and artillery tree have worse stats than their major nations. Minor nations excuse me, I don't know why I'm coughing so much here. Minor nations also do not start with generic tank tree anymore and rely on major nations for tanks via decisions. That is historically correct. So generally speaking, anything that's historically correct, I think, is a good thing. Certain tanks have multiple variations in the tech tree, such as the Panzer IV. Switching production between the variants result in very little loss in efficiency. Very, very good. Ships unlock their historical modules already attached, leaving little to be refitted and researched. They also have split into historical archetypes. The new edition specialized. The following frigates are very effective against submarines. Heavy cruisers are effective against light ships, and light carriers are cheaper. Okay, my comments on this, and this setting up is also, shall we say, a basic starting review of World Ablaze mod. I prefer this method of setting things up, meaning giving Germany its historical like tank tech tree or aircraft tech tree, with, I would include the realistically considered alternatives that Germany was considering. Things like Germany's thoughts on making we'll call it a copy of the T-34. It really wasn't, but it was something closer to a T-34 than a Panther, for sure. Now, the other way, you know, I don't like forcing nations to make the same mistakes that they made in World War II, for particularly the players' nation, I should say, historically. The players' nation, we're not talking about AI. So, is it wrong to force Italy to have the Italian tank tech tree, or give them alternatives? Italy could have made other decisions. Italy chose, and I say by Italy, it's more than just Mussolini. Mussolini was never fully in charge of Italy because there was a king, he had power. He, in essence, orders the arrest of Mussolini eventually. So and the Royal Army was very much a Royal Army and not a fascist army. So he was in charge mainly, but not, 100%. And Italian industry, particularly Fiat Ensondo, those are two companies that were working together to produce the tanks of Italy, did not simply want to make copies of German tanks. They wanted to design their own. I don't think that they were set up properly to do the welding that the German tanks required. I think that's part of it. That's why you see Italian tanks always using rivets to the end. So I think some of it is production capabilities, and not that they couldn't produce a Panzer IV or a Panther. It's they weren't set up to, and the disruption to switch over to that would have been very great. There's reasons the nations chose what they chose, but then there's good reasons to go down other paths. But I like this, just as a play style. I like this. Okay, so we like the historical types. Combat width has been changed from 100 to 90, making the ideal division have 30 combat width. Keep that in mind, everybody. Rough terrain uses 20 combat width. Weather and terrain are much harsher. Organization takes longer to regain and is dependent on infrastructure and supply levels. Their supply lasts 10 days instead of 3 days. Oh, okay, so supply lasts, I guess presumably when you're out of supply, lasts 10 days instead of 3 days. New units have been added, and the descriptions for unique ones can be found below. Armored cars are split between combat and scout. Combat cars are generally have equal armament to light tanks, but are cheaper and less durable. Scout cars provide org and can be used as recon. They also wield, assault guns. They have much more armor and soft attack than self-propelled guns, but have less breakthrough in defense. Okay, heavy units currently, field guns and infantry have heavy variants. These are much better. Okay, but cost more and are slower and take more supply. Miscellaneous, there are also a hard cap of 10 carriers per battle. Death stacks have been heavily nerfed. Okay, for these are for fleets. I was wondering if these were like Brengen carriers or something, but no, fleet carriers. Number of screening required is now 4 instead of 3 for ships having double the penetration. Okay, so we've looked at that. So now we understand how they've changed some of the game. I think, well, consumes 2 iron, 1 steel. Let's start with just a few civilian factories. Okay, so now we are, I know we have a deficit, so we're probably going to trade, but we'll just start with a few of those. We'll have to look at maybe either activating or dealing with more resource factories, steel and aluminum. Okay. Now we're started here with concentrated industries and not dispersed industries, or as what this is looking at, balance. I think, and I don't know, this is concentrated industries is definitely in the American/Soviet playbook. Britain, I would say, is dispersed industries, and I would also say Germany was. So I don't understand that decision. Maybe, I don't know if Uncharted will ever watch the video and respond. Why they picked that one. There may be a good reason for it. Now, I did look before, and to say get a new class of destroyers here needs active sonar researched. So to unlock, again, active sonar, over here, new class of submarine, basic submarine fuel tank. So we need to unlock decimetric radar for that type of submarine. So we need to unlock some of the technologies. Why not? I should be on kick.com right now. I should be live there. I'm pretty sure that I am. And Facebook is just simply I can do 5, and I've got 5 with Kick. So I'm trying to be a maybe it's, yeah, looks like it's working here. Trying to see if, I think Kick's gonna fail as a streaming service, but if there's anybody watching it now, I'm sort of hoping that I'm easier to find there. Okay, so we need to do active sonar. Let's look. Okay, 1936. Well, I'm checking Kick. Okay. Well, I set this up to happen, but I guess somehow it's not happening, Arno. Thanks for letting me know. I'm not going to dig into it right now. The kick isn't working right. I thought it was. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, okay, kick isn't working. It's just, it's new. It's in alpha or whatever, very early beta. Okay, so we're going to research Panzer 2s. Yeah, like I say, I've gotten very little interaction on Facebook. Basically none other than you, Arno, there. So, not that I don't want to do Facebook, I definitely do. But it's just wanting to try other things. Okay. Now I have to look into it for sure, but I thought the Panzer IIs were starting production in the beginning of 1936. I'm pretty sure they were, so I think this is wrong. I think we should have, because I remember looking up. It's been a long time. Are you going to make Panzer I variant? We could research some of those, but right now I want to get to Panzer II. If memory serves, and it's been a while since I looked this up, basically I looked it up in one of my books way back when, before Hoi 4 came out. And in my opinion, it should be, Panzer I should be fully in production, you know, fully worked up as, you know, efficiency, start at the beginning of 36. And at the beginning of 36, you should have the Panzer II models ready to go. So, yeah, meaning they had done the prototyping and whatnot prior to that point. And you can decide to either keep Panzer I's in production or switch to Panzer IIs, or add a production line of Panzer IIs and keeping Panzer I, you know, do both. That should be your choice at this point. So that is a little bit historically incorrect as far as I know, and again, historically incorrect is not good. Now we can grab the 222. I like the 222. It's a nice balanced four-wheel reconnaissance vehicle. Okay, there are 3 choices currently. The 4-year plan, which is 21 days. Now the 4-year plan doesn't come in, I think, until like around August of 36, just to give you a general date on that. I think it's August, but it's second half of 1936. The Rhineland, okay, and that does happen about, yeah, you know, a few months into 1936. So historically, now I did see in here, and this is compared to some things not too big of a tree, but it seems to be a rather well done. Hello, Max Zombrex, how you doing? Now, okay, proclaim the Axis power, 14 days. Neutral assistance. Where I saw the Olympics is in here somewhere. Like I say, I looked around this a little bit, but have not played it. I do like the icons. The icons are looking good. Oh, here. Okay, so that's after here. Okay, and that's of course in July is when that happens. So we're going to start with doing this. All right, so we have that. Now, one major plus for Uncharted and the dev team for World Ablaze is that they've at least to some degree filled the cabinet. I very much don't like Paradox's, blank slate start for games. That you've got to, over time, fully fill the cabinet. Now, I agree with the idea that boy, why do I blank on names? Dawn, Podcat, now that I remember, I do know who I'm talking about, wanted to put political power in, so you're not just min-maxing, sort of with the idea of constantly changing, policies or personnel are disruption to the government. I agree fully with that. But I would start with the historical personages that best fit the start of the game. This is wrong. In 1936, Joachim von Ribbentrop was the ambassador to England. Constantine von der Rath was the foreign minister in 1936. So these two should be switched at start. We can talk about which one is better than the other, but Constantine von Rath he only left the position in 1938 when Ribbentrop was appointed. So that is a bad, incorrect thing to start with. So that should be switched, I think, entirely. Interior Minister, which is often seen as, in Europe, a sort of the Interior Police Minister. Wilhelm Frick is not a bad choice in 36. As one of the people. Himmler wouldn't be a bad choice. Now this formed Waffen-SS. This is where I disagree, because the Waffen-SS is not an interior ministry type functionality. I would have him available now. So as your interior minister possibility. Now, economics minister. This is getting a little complicated here because they've added transport minister. I've not seen transport minister as being a common and major position. I'm not saying they don't exist. The minister in charge of the railways out of a nationalized railway nation. I think France was pseudo-nationalized. I don't know. But, might very well have somebody that would be called the transportation minister. This, to me, looks like, because I've quickly hovered over some of these, this is railway, Paul Frere. I don't know. I got to look into it. I would have the German railway guy, which I'm pretty sure is not Paul Frere, railway production guy, but I have to look into that a little bit more. Organization Tote did have a transportation element to it, but it was minor. It was mostly a construction element, and as Speer's increased empire, shall we say, definitely increased transportation but most of the transportation elements that he was increasing were doing truck transport, particularly for the Luftwaffe. This does, in essence, give the ability to have two economically based ministers. I've just always read economic minister because this is a war game. Now, war is a political, political act, so politics matters in war. As sort of, if you will, production minister. From what I've seen, Julius Heinrich Doppler was in charge of the Ministry of Transport. Okay, I'm going to look up some of these people. I have not yet. Thanks, Holiday Punch. Like I say, I'm not saying that Ministries of Transport didn't exist as a title, because this is Railroad Enthusiast. Sort of picturing him, and I don't know that I would remember his name. Let me look it up here. Yes, Gamer is going in. There's a bit of controversy on there. Does use Wikipedia at time, but who was in charge here? I'm just... The guy in charge of the German railway locomotive production is what I'm trying to quickly... Krieg locomotive. The one thing they sort of did in the American style. Looking on Wikipedia, but well, let me just respawn. Well, maybe this isn't the time to try to dig into it. Hey, thanks for following. Do appreciate it. Like to get more people here. Okay, no, I'll look into this some other time. Just who I'm thinking of. So, not a bad idea to have two slots that deal with industry and production. I don't know if I would make these sorts of choices here. Now, hello, Pan Karki? I don't know. Como está? I really don't speak Spanish, Pan. All I did was their transport minister in Germany, and they popped up. Yes, but yeah. And Ragar's here. How you doing? Intelligence Minister. Okay. Now here, I guess they're throwing in Joseph Goebbels. This is, we don't know where, this is I'm summarizing here, or putting in, this is, Joseph Goebbels is an important minister. We don't know what slot to put him in, so let's throw him in here. I probably, if you're looking at interior minister being able to be something other than police type ministers, I would have put him here as opposed to putting them here. I would have included for intelligence minister, Wilhelm Canaris is definitely a good choice here. I would have added Reinhard Heydrich, and I'd have to look up the guy's name who succeeds him as foreign intelligence person for the SS as an alternative. I would do that. And political advisor, yeah, I get this as sort of being a catch-all. And then this is maybe where you could put the idea of Goebbels here instead. Yeah, historically, of course, well, Deputy Fuhrer was Rudolf Hess. He leaves, they don't replace him as Deputy Fuhrer, but in essence, Chief of Staff. Deputy Fuhrer within the party, and the party and the government were an ever-merging thing as time goes on. Good, better in English. Okay. Yeah, he was propaganda. Yeah, Goebbels was propaganda minister. If you want to look at, yes, a lot of, in Europe, a lot of they term the ministry, an interior minister as being the head of the police. In the U.S., there is a sort of interior ministry. I'm exactly blanking on what it's called, but it sort of deals with forestry and other sort of interior type issues. And yes, there are like some policing elements, like for the National Forest, but it's not the FBI or the Attorney General in America. It's sort of separated out. So if you wanted to sort of do interior minister as being sort of a ministry that deals with interior, not foreign ministry, not war, not spying, not some of these other things, I could see that as a catch-all. I could also see political advisor as being something like put in Joseph Goebbels instead. So I could see that as shifting. And I will totally grant the idea that whether it's National Socialist Germany or the United States, they have different structures, and none of them are going to all fit neatly into a basic package. That's going to be the same for all nations. So you sort of, I'll grant, whether it's the mod makers or Paradox, grant you can't always piece it together 100% right. I'm just evaluating what I'm seeing here. What's Ragar saying? I feel like granddad because I have to rest in bed twice a day. I spend too much time by trying to look at current problems in Eastern Europe. Still think it can escalate into eventually. Well, I don't think I think we have the current war in Eastern Europe contained within roughly the boundaries of Ukraine. So I hope it won't spread beyond that. Heydrich actually had a couple of replacements, one of them being Ernst Kaltenbrunner. That's one of them, but he was more, I think, interior. I'm thinking Ostland SS guy. Schellenberg, I think, is the name, or something very similar to that. Holiday Punch. And I'm just going off memory here. Schellenberger, yes, because Reinhard Heydrich was wearing multiple hats, if you will, including some that were effectively supposed to be done in Berlin at the time of his death, and some down in Prague where he was killed. So yeah, Kaltenbrunner takes over some of it, but I'm thinking Schellenberg. So you start throwing a few names at me, and I start remembering things like names. Just if you're somewhat new around here, I can divide the world into math and not math. And math is things very formulaic, like spelling or whatever. I'm good at the not math, so I know history, but I don't necessarily know historical dates. I know it sort of that. Otherwise, Hermann and Kurt Delig, Karl Hermann Frank. Well, Karl Hermann Frank sort of takes over, I believe, mostly in Czechoslovakia. He was they're all a bunch of evil bastards, but he was a particularly nasty one. Now, what I find sort of interesting here is that they don't have a war minister, defense minister, whatever you want to call him, in the cabinet. I find that very interesting choice to make, because this is a war game, a war-focused game, if you will, that has a political element to it. So they don't have that. And I've noticed particularly, again, I like that they have some of these slots filled. I wish they were all the ones that should be filled. And like a clear one that not filled would be an Austrian naval one. Yes, I know there were Austrian and Hungarian naval. Yes, I know Hungary is led by an admiral. Now, you might want to try to fill it if you get some coastline and you're actually building ships as either one of those nations, but that's something that probably wouldn't be filled at start for those nations. And which the Luftwaffe was around in 1936, but if you were starting a little earlier, you might not have a chief of the Air Force at the start of the game, but I would at this point. Frank wasn't that Uzi lackey who did what his leaders wanted. Okay, Karl Hermann Frank was the deputy to Seyss-Inquart, and the number 2 guy in the Sudeten German movement, shall we say, who was also an SS member. That's who Karl Hermann Frank was. You're thinking of another Frank. I'm forgetting his first name. Yeah, well, not in the late 40s. You're thinking late 30s, maybe Holiday Punch. But I think they officially announced it before this time. They already had announced the Luftwaffe as being in existence in 36. For free as a promo, it's a decent strategy game. Playing Ada or Genesis. Okay, don't know the game. Might be good. Now, ministries is what they're calling here are just things like called Ministry of Culture. Sort of works basically women's role in society. Ministry of Defense is just war bonds, it looks like. Ministry of Propaganda, just, I guess, the amount of propaganda being used. Ministry of Labor is tax cuts, mandatory, okay. Ministry of Business is where you specialize your political ideology here. Of course, we're National Socialism. And this is the economic fatigue element in the game. The guy that was in charge. Yeah, the general government. Yeah, that Frank. Exactly, Holiday Punch. The general government of Poland. That's who the other Frank. And I'm forgetting his first name right offhand. Yes, there's definitely 2 Franks. So Karl Hermann Frank is one guy. He was Sudeten German, we'll call him, and never really did anything outside of the Czech. Yeah, Hans Frank, that's it. Holiday Punch. I know a lot of these people read a lot, but I got to sort of get reminded on the names. Hans Frank is the one for the general government there. Exactly, Holiday Punch. Okay, so we're still looking at getting started. We don't have any political power yet, so we can't make any of the changes. Again, I would have these things filled where appropriate. You know, maybe in 1936 we don't have some of these. Okay, so scientists, you know, Heisenberg and von Braun. But I would again do that. And again, by doing this here, this is not wrong. Fritsch was in charge of the army. Bloomberg was in charge of the armed forces, in effect, the defense or the minister of war. And Fritsch gets replaced by Brauhitsch. Bloomberg gets replaced by what was it? Keitel, I think. So this is not wrong. I just don't know if it's not having a defense minister is an interesting choice. And then we have army theorist, air theorist, and naval theorist. And yeah, starting in 36, probably neither of these men should be the theorist. Maybe if you created a, more infantry-based theorist. And then here, just a sort of catch-all military high command. These are all the same slot, meaning you can have up to 6 out of this panel of possibilities. So that's a look at the government. Heydrich is Heydrich is no, he isn't in a choice of anything here. Like I say, for intelligence, I would have Heydrich as an intelligence choice, and I would have in 36. Okay, Frick is the interior minister, if I'm not mistaken, in 1936. But I think by 36, and you got to understand when you're trying to look at National Socialist Germany, the realities in 1933, because it's very early in 1933 that Hitler becomes chancellor. Hitler's just chancellor. There's still Hindenburg is president, the army and Bloomberg and all those guys don't answer to the civilian government, which is Hitler. They answer to the president. Bloomberg is their own thing. So Hitler's gaining power all through this time. His final real big leap in actual gaining of power, in a practical sense, is the defeat of France. The National Socialist state still grows after that, but that's his real last big hurdle, that he's now become unquestioned leader of the Reich. And now I think it's because in 33, 34, you have a lot of different people in charge of the police. You have people like Wilhelm Frick, who's the Interior Ministry, but then you also have Göring, who is president of Prussia. So he's in charge of the Prussian police, which includes the Gestapo. The Gestapo are a sort of a political police in Prussia. Now, there's some of Prussia way out here, and there's, of course, East Prussia here. There's Prussia everywhere. The Nazis are the ones that rationalize the German state. And it is only a little bit later that the Gestapo moves into the SS. And eventually, basically, all the police powers come to Himmler and the SS, to the point that all police, including railway police, including fire police, are all under the SS. Not that all police are members of the SS, but the SS are in charge of all police, and all police generals, and it was a title, they were called generals, all police generals were also full members of the SS. To be a police general, you had to be a full member of the SS. So I think by 1936, Himmler is in charge of the police inside of Germany. Frick is still running sort of the Ministry of the Interior, but it's more of like akin to the American Attorney General in that it's more of, the prosecutors and the judges and those types of jobs within it. And this is not an area that I've looked at. Hey, Sun Temple Radio. Yes, it's a new version of World Ablaze mod. So, yes, it's new, but the mod's been around for a while. New version of it. So Frick stays around for quite some time, and I sort of lose track of him as it. But I think by 36 he's had all of his police powers. The police pulled away, but he's running, like I say, the prosecutor's offices, who's appointing the judges, and all that type of malarkey. He's running that. So not that it's a wrong choice to have him here. I would just also at this point have Himmler as a real option, and maybe even start with him in office, and you can switch over to, when you get the political power, switch over to Himmler, is how I would set this up. Hitler was a thing even in 1912. Yes. It isn't. Oh boy, and again, I'm not always great on dates where I'm good on order of events. Yeah, the SS starts out just as sort of a protection squad of SA men to protect Hitler and if other, people, primarily Hitler at the start, and it grows over time. It isn't independent really until 1934, I would say, independent from the SA as an independent organization. But yes, it goes back to about early in the 1920s. I don't know exactly the date of it. Werner von Fritsch replacement was Brauhitsch, I think. Yes. No, you're absolutely right, Holiday Punch. And how you doing, Starstreak? Okay, so that's sort of my look at the government. I know it's sort of long-winded, but I'm reviewing the mod here. What I think they're getting right and what I think they're getting wrong. So we are in January 1936, and let's go. And with all of that, I think we're going to end the episode, not the live stream. Yes, Night of the Long Knives, absolutely, Sun Temple Radio. I want to thank everyone who made it this far. If you haven't already, please lick that like button. It's tasty. And if it's red, smash the subscribe button. I want everyone to see you around in the future. And of course, post your thoughts, comments, corrections down below. Love everyone posting. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron. Don't worry, guys. We're going to keep going here. I'm just breaking this into segments so that it's not too big to digest the rest of the time. Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with part 2 of playing World Ablaze mod. The first part is just sort of getting set up and talking about reviewing some of the starting options. One thing we didn't look at were decisions. Disband the SS, just looking at what we could do now. Recruit more reserve divisions. I guess we can maybe do that, but I don't want to reduce factory output at this time. close steel mills, increase wages, recommission pre-dreadnought battleships at peace, controls Königsberg, spawn 2 Deutschland class battleships instantly at war. Okay, we will. Okay, well, before we do that, I want to sort of see. Submarines. The Deutschland Panzer. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. U.S. oil purchase, we don't have that. Unlock all tank units. No, we don't need to do that. Institute press censorship. Okay. Really loves their oil. Of course we do. Oil is the prize. Still is. Okay, so this is spawned Schleswig, Holstein, and Schlesien. Yep, they were around. Those were the 2, 4, or 6 ships that Germany was allowed to keep at the end of World War II, and the 2 in best shape. There were 2 others that were scrapped the year before, 1935, I believe. Germany scrapped them, probably didn't need to. Okay, now let's look at trade and imports. Right, we are weak on iron and bauxite. But we currently have enough of that. Let's of aluminum. Let's. Okay, 2 factories. Sounds good. And they're not delivering. Okay, let's 1 factory. Now steel, we're not. Don't have enough steel. Now. Activate, close core steel. Yes, okay, so iron. We are negative 25, so or 27, obviously. Let's try that. And let's see, do we have steel mill, hydro? We don't have iron mines, so well, let's build some military factories. rubber. Rubber is key. Well, rubber is definitely a vital. Okay, so we need even more. I knew we would need more, but I wanted to creep up on it, quite honestly. Oh, I don't want to close. Steel for use needed is that deficit. We are exporting more than we need to. Okay. Don't know what global organization is. I don't even know if they know what global organization is. We are unlimited exports. Hello, Max saying, how you doing? Horses are key. At least they don't have to consume oil. Yes, horses were very much used in Germany. And hello, Ari. Well, so far we're trying to figure our economies out. Basically, aluminum and steel. Now, why what happened to Hungary's they got bauxite. Why don't they have aluminum? Seriously, what? I hope, Uncharted, you watch this at some point and respond. Why the hell doesn't Hungary have aluminum? They got the bauxite. I thought they had a aluminum manufacturing plant. Again, you just need lots of electricity. I'm not quite sure. I thought they did. Area just got destroyed by Lydian forces in total war. Oh, okay. They got past my barricade and didn't notice. Okay. Another piece of the why you get off of Hungary. Is this supposed to be a joke? Something about Hungary? Yeah. Yeah, I know that they have lots of bauxite. I thought they also produced a bunch of aluminum. Well, oh, let's look at coal. Okay, we have looks like practically unlimited amounts of coal. Hydro aluminum versus steel. Okay, that's what we want to do here. Reactivate instead of build new. Reactivate core smelters. Hello, Suzo. Rome Total War is fun. Yes, it is. Forget the name. Forget the name of one of the mods. I have a series on it. I was enjoying playing it. Now it's been a few years, but okay, right. I'll reactivate aluminum smelters. Well, okay, we need to reactivate more aluminum. Well, at least 20 iron. Okay, so we need more iron. Positive iron. No, not that much. Let's try 500. Okay, there we go with that. Reactivate core steel mill. Okay, so 30. So let's do that. Now I just saw that. Activate core steel mill. Hello, HL Malazan. How you doing? Yes, back on World Ablaze. Yeah, that's it. DIE. I forget what it stands for. Yeah, that mod was pretty good. The series ended with some bug that I couldn't get past the turn and couldn't salvage going forward, so I ended it there and haven't gone back to the game since then. For Total War 2, yeah, Divide et Imperia. That's right. Yeah, it is. That's right, Ari. You getting that right? I didn't know I was the Treaty of Lydia on it. Okay, should have. Yeah. Okay, still trying to figure out the economy here, making sure that we get enough. Okay, we're better on the steel. Okay, we need to have more units of iron available. Just trying to figure out my... Okay, now, historically, and again, we, Dutch East Indies, well, yes, that too. But that's not what we were talking about. The more historical one of these games are, the more mods, the more I like it. How do I say this? Because I'm trying to be correct especially when I'm criticizing something else. Germany did not have enough steel because steel is a product. Germany did not have, well, no, I'm not sure about that. Hey, thanks for following. Do appreciate it. Want to have more new people here. Germany had lots and lots of iron. Germany had enough iron in the ground, okay? For Germany, the question is not access. They didn't need to conquer new territories to get more iron. They had plenty of iron in the ground. Now, that doesn't mean that they can get all that iron out of the ground right away when they want it. Meaning the mines that existed pull out however many tons of of iron a day that then gets smelted out and purified. So capturing more iron mines around the world with their workers and with the facility set up, and again, basic smelters there, are useful to increase Germany's iron. And Germany's production increased over time. And Germany's iron use also increases over time in the sense of building the West Wall, which we're not building at the moment, building the Atlantic Wall, which we're not building at the moment, because the rebar, as well as other steel obstacles and other objects, are used in those constructions, as well as building the submarine pens, as well as building all kinds of things. Building buildings included, using steel to build that. Now, I'm going to use the term junk steel. Rebar doesn't need to be high quality steel. It's just some sort of steel. So some of that is using junk steel. Junk steel is not good for rifle barrels, artillery barrels, tank armor. When you want high quality steel, junk steel doesn't work. Now, for the trigger guard or a butt plate on a rifle, that could be junk steel. It just needs to be some sort of steel. I mean, even iron would work, but you're mostly making that out of steel. Look at Japan's last-ditch rifles. Some, like the butt plate, gets made out of wood because they don't have enough even iron. But Germany does not have much of an iron problem, okay? Not saying it can, for all of its possible wants during the war, that it gets enough. But that's not 1936 and the current military production in 1936. I would say Germany has plenty of iron. Why then the Sweden gambit? Why is this so important? Because this produces a very special iron, and for some reason they don't have a good, and I've read about it, they don't have a good grasp on exactly what it was, because I guess it got mined out and used up before anyone really looked at it. But they think it had a natural mixture of tungsten with it. So when you refined it with coal, you're just dumping basically the iron, you smelt out it to metal, you get rid of a lot of the non-metallic impurities, and then you go through the process of infusing carbon from coal into the iron to create steel. It was a sort of a tungsten alloy already. So what Sweden provided really was, and I again talked to the developers, was really tungsten, not as an independent thing, and that's why it's sort of here. But Sweden actually has very little tungsten, but they have a steel that can be used for machine tools and other high quality elements. So that's why it was important, but it was more important for this element than simply raw iron output. So I'm not entirely in favor of the way this is requiring me to trade so much for iron, where I would see it more likely the idea limiting factors as being how many steel mills you have, more so than iron. At least that's how I would. And my understanding is what's coming out of Sweden is not iron. What's coming out of Sweden is steel. Again, a high quality steel that is likely to be infused with tungsten. So I think this is incorrect here, that I'm trying to trade with Sweden for iron. I should be either steel and or tungsten, not iron. Germany should have better iron, I would say. And says oil is always a problem for Germany. Yes, I can see them enough refineries to keep Very interesting. All those rifles needed, well, they needed good steel for the rifles, for the barrels. You can talk about barrel bands, trigger guards, triggers. Now the springs inside of the rifle, they need to be high quality. The bolts, the receivers, those need to be high quality steel. But the butt plates and the, you know, where you attach the swivels to it, all that can be just junk steel. You know, just any old kind of steel at any old kind of hardness, and it'll just work. And a lot of parts on an artillery piece, like the you know, the steel wheels that then have a rubber tire on the outside of them, but the steel wheel, that can just be sort of junk steel. The barrel and the recoil springs and other key parts, the breech and other key parts of that artillery piece need to be high quality steel. So you can, like on an artillery piece, it can be a mix of what I'll call junk steel and high quality steel. Now Germany's probably overbuilding, you know, using more high quality steel than they need, but some of that stuff can be of lesser quality, while some of the stuff, Sweden, it was very pure iron in contrast to Germany. I don't know what else is better about it. My understanding is that it's an alloy, it's a natural alloy that they were producing up here. That's my understanding, Max. Just take Baku and you'll have plenty of oil. Well, it should be a lot of oil, but iron, tungsten smelt into steel. Wow, did not know that. Yeah, that's you need a lot of tungsten. Pure tungsten is useful, or wolfram as it was called back then a lot of the time. But either, if you see a reference to wolfram or tungsten, it is the same mineral. Today, it's almost exclusively called tungsten. Back then, I don't know why they called it the two different names, but that was the two names that were in common use. You can use pure tungsten, but a lot of times what they would do is for the machine tools, the cutting part, you know, the thing that cuts other steel, is a blade element that's manufactured that is normally it's an alloy that has a high levels of tungsten mixed in with the steel, so that it was harder than the steel that it was cutting. So when it's cutting out a barrel, an artillery barrel, you want something even harder than the material that it's cutting. And you do use it up, can be recycled, but it goes through a process. So Germany had, throughout the war, it had a problem of not enough machine tool elements, not enough machine tools, not enough machine, you know, do we have high quality armor on tanks or ships or whatever, or do we have machine tools to make those things? There was always that trade-off that Germany had to do, and it's a critical thing. So now another area here is we can do an agent already. I never play this terribly well. I guess Skorzeny looks like... Now, Skorzeny I would not have here at the start, but maybe, I don't know if you can do... I would do some more historical spies, but he is tough. Enemy operatives. Okay. Target sabotage efficiency. Okay, he is a good... okay, boost ideology mission. Just looking, safe cracker, infiltrator. Well, let's go with this guy. And intelligence agency. What? Well, what do we want? Let's build intelligent network here. try to control interior stuff. Baku oil region, Hoi 4. Yeah, that's so. Yes, absolutely Soviet territory. Use a hold off war with them before UK is defeated. Which is where my oil biggest. The Abwehr is an Abwehr to anti-spy in country network in other countries. Hello, Poop Hunter. It's been a while. How you doing? Happy birthday. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. I'm not going to sing, but everyone can wish Poop Hunter a happy birthday if they like. Okay, the Rhineland. Oh. Oh. Is everybody seeing what I'm seeing on your screen? I guess there's a bit of a delay. Yeah, this is the World Ablaze DLC. When did this happen? When did this happen? When did this happen? I know I'm repeating myself. I asked for this before the game was released. That we could do like an animated GIF for event images. I mean, I've not seen this before. I don't know if this is something that World Ablaze tweaked in. You know, I'm guessing this is World Ablaze is using this, but is this a feature stuck in at the base game now? Or did they somehow, you know, shoehorn it, wedge it into the system? Yeah, I know it's a gift from World War II. I'm presuming it's a gift as opposed to some other animated format. But I was asking for that as being an option since before this game was released. And no one cared enough to do it. This is so cool. This is really cool. Yes, Harry Potter newspaper. Now, if you guys have either seen my series or played Hearts of Iron 3's Black Ice with Third Reich events, you know I'd use a lot of event images and with the event pop-up. They did have more of a event style pop-up as opposed to this style pop-up before. I like it. I like having the graphic images, having an animated GIF, because you could even take a still image and like zoom in onto one person in the group of like 3 people or something like that, and create animated GIFs out of a still image. Whether it's done as a newspaper format or something else, I do like that. I'm impressed that this is now here. Wish they would have put it in the World News, Sirius Black. Yeah, okay, I guess it's some anime thing. No, it's the first GIF ever made, 1936. I mean, yes. Right, so I'm impressed that this is here now. Well, one of the first GIFs, if you will, ever made was done, I think it was by the British. They took a series of like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or whatever still images of Hitler, for the surrender, outside of the surrender train at Versailles, or no, Compiègne. That's right. It's at Compiègne. Getting my wars mixed up. They brought out the French train that Germany had to surrender in World War I. Brought that same train car out. Made the French surrender in that one. And outside of that, the Germans took a series of pictures of Hitler. One of them is sort of like stamping his feet sort of a little bit. The British took those stills and made it look like a movie, and made some of those repeat, and made it look like he was dancing a jig, is sort of the term. And I'm using that since it's a series of still photographs that they put together and then put it to into the newsreels and made it look like he's dancing a jig, and sort of it repeats, so through a few times that he's dancing a jig at the victory. So I'm going with that, and that's in 1940, of course. So I'm going with that as one of the first animated GIFs, if you will. Yeah, I think this is cut from a movie, sure, but you can do all kinds of things. Ragar, hello, Beamslam, how you doing? Need some? Yes, the Shao newsreels, yes. Surprised that GIFs can be used, considering that it was a total conversion done. Yeah, Max, but before they couldn't be used, and I tried to use, trust me, because I made an unreleased version of Third Reich Events don't even ask me for it, because it's a way out of date version of Hoi 4 that it would work with. I tried using it or GIF format, and it would not work. It would not recognize that it was a GIF format. It was Taga, it would recognize, and one other format, I forget which one right offhand. It was only two formats these would recognize, but now I guess it's recognizing GIFs. So this is new. I tried to do this before, like I say, and this is new. So this is cool. We got the Rhineland. Now, I would not have used that clip. I think, well, maybe I would have. I don't know. I don't know what that clip was. I'm not used to seeing it. Maybe it was something to do with Rhineland militarization. I would have used a little short video clip of troops marching into the Rhineland, but I'm just still impressed. Okay, so we have no national focus set, so we could do West Wall Border Watch, 14 days. Secure the state, 14 days. We do want to get to the Olympics. Proclaim Axis power, 14 days. 4-year plan, we're going to wait on a little bit. Yeah, let's do secure the state. Yeah, there's Max, there's at least to me sort of famous, because I've seen it used in a lot of documentaries, of a bunch of soldiers and vehicles like marching or driving across a bridge, one of the Rhine bridges. I would have used something like that, meaning it now if they already had, I don't know if that may be reused a lot, or maybe that was, because Hitler was not involved with going into the Rhineland personally, as far as I know. He was, in a motorcade invading Austria in 1937, I think, yeah, 1937. And then again later in 1938, he's in another motorcade that goes into Prague. And those invasions. And so he's sort of leading the invasion would be a little too extreme, but he's following along behind, occupation troops. Before Germans, before the Germans make it to Vienna, he's already following along on the triumphal entry into Austria as well as Czechoslovakia. So he was personally there for those events, you know, within the day or so of taking those things. He's there. So he's definitely there. And I'm not saying there aren't celebrations of, you know, reoccupation in the Rhineland days or weeks later that Hitler shows up. I'm just saying he wasn't part of the, you know, initial march into the Rhineland. Yes, exactly, Sun Temple Radio. He said, pull out if there's too much resistance. And that is part of why I wouldn't put him there, because he did not want he did not want the shame of having to turn around and march out if there was any resistance to the occupation of Rhineland. So he did not want to be too personally associated with possible failure there, is how I would do it. Austria happily joined German friends to create early EU. Well, in a way, yes. In a way, yes. Insufficient resources. Okay, so now we have a positive here of 100. We have a positive, or, you know, overly done positive steel. Okay, aluminum's close enough, I think. Now let's come back over to here. Let's just reduce it down by 50. Hopefully we'll keep everything going good here. Now we are building civilian factories, military factories, good. You're absolutely right about that, Max. It was very weak in 1936. It really showed the Rhineland occupation and the earlier 1935 Saarland kicked the French out, because the French had still been in the Saarland up until 1935. Wasn't a militarization, but it was kicking the French out. Really showed the idea that France was unwilling to fight for anything at the time, is what I would say. And I think the remilitarization here also got us more iron and steel and whatnot. Okay, so yes, good. Just a little over on that, which is fine. A little over there. Okay, good. Trying to keep they went to train troops in Russia. They were doing some of that. I don't know how much they were doing that in 36. They had done some of it during the Weimar. They had done some during, I think, early National Socialist Germany, but increasingly they were ramping up tensions, so it was getting to be a less and less close cooperation, is what I would say. Let's get some of these destroyers done. Focus on getting those done. All right. Okay, we secured the state. Okay, the Olympics has to happen. This focus cancels if the requirements are not met. Okay, so we could form the Waffen-SS, 14 days, city Festungs, we don't need that yet. Anti-common, turn back west wall, proclaim the Axis powers, which we can do. Condor Legion. Let's do this. Just a reoccupation of the Rhineland Niagara is all you've really missed. That and me talking and blathering on about things. So I'm hoping he builds up building Intel network. Well, we'll build up an Intel network in France and see how that goes. Now let's look at the intelligence network. Okay, becomes my spy master. Okay, we have department and government cipher schools. I do think some of this stuff is comical. We'll do that, passive defense. We'll use some of our industry to do that. Well, that was already sort of pre-existing. Okay, rational realization of the VEMA. Okay, let's come over, let's proclaim the Axis powers. What is coming up soon here? Okay, looks good, I guess. I think the intelligence networks how do I put this? Either cost too much, and could, meaning I think I could have like 10 or 20 agents doing all kinds of things around the world. For a major power like Germany or the US or Britain or whatever, I think that would be better. Oh, hey, is she a writer? Well, good. I presume she writes in German, but yeah. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of political power, which will allow us to do some stuff. Treaty, 7 days. Mostly getting it for the Condor Legion once that exists. Anti-Comintern pack. Well, okay, now we can do another. Political power gain, war support, ideology, drift defense. Okay, so we currently have MIFO bills, Anglo-German Naval Agreement, inefficient air industry, autarky, relaxed industry, fractious Abwehr, economic divide. Okay, well, let's put Canaris in. That'll get us another agent operative slot and agency upgrade time minus that. So we'll do that. Okay, railway construction speed plus 5% plus 25%. So infrastructure 5%, infrastructure 5%, political power down. I don't want to actually select you, but consumer industries down need. Political power also equally down, but not that. And here, political power gain, which would offset some of that other down support. No, we don't need that just yet. IG Farben, industrial research, synthetic Siemens. Can't do that one because why? Oh, you haven't completed invest in IG Farben yet. Okay. Yeah, let's do Krupp. Well, I don't know if he was a terrible leader. He was definitely, he harbored within his organization anti-Nazis. That's quite true. Including boy, names I shouldn't forget. He was an anti-Nazi. I would say he was a German patriot, but an anti-Nazi. Hey, thanks for following. Do appreciate it. Like to have more and more people around. German intelligence was really bad. Canaris was running the Abwehr. Reinhard Heydrich was running the Ausland SD, which is part of the SS, but it's the security service for outside of Germany. And he was also overseeing it. I mean, there were different people in charge of the actual branches. And he was, Reinhard Heydrich was also dealing with the internal SD, and the Gestapo, and running that internally intelligence operations. And then you also had the foreign ministry with a more limited intelligence gathering capability, but not heavy. It was mostly the Abwehr and the SS, and they were often working at odds with each other. So it was a mess. Yeah, well, you see, a lot of people, like in 36, Max, they saw Hitler and the Nazis as being a political party that, well, in future elections, once people get tired of them, they'll see sense and they'll go in another direction. They didn't quite understand. I mean, how many times do I have to say it? Hitler's evil. I mean, evil at his core. But you have to sort of understand what Hitler was trying to do. Hitler was not a traditionalist. He wanted to burn everything down and build a new reality based on some mythical past, and create a new Germany. So he fooled a lot of traditionalists into supporting him, and I would call that fooled. So he wanted to burn down German society as much as the communists did, but where the communists wanted to get rid of nationalism and have a an international state, Soviet republics all over the world, or whatever you want to call them. Hitler was an ultra-nationalist, but he was trying to burn down the traditional society as well as the recent liberal society of Weimar government. He wanted to get rid of both of them, and so the traditionalists saw him wanting to move away from the chaos of Weimar, if you will, of the liberalism, but didn't quite understand that he wanted to burn down everything else as well. And so Hitler, setting the world ablaze is very true, very much. It's this Hitler BS having unclear responsibility for his staff. Okay, Hitler liked competition. Hitler was not a fascist. Hitler wanted clashes between organizations because it was in his nature. He saw the world through struggle and strife, and believed that that's how the world worked. I'm not saying he's wrong or right on that, because there is struggle and strife, but he wanted to see it, and so he wanted it to happen and have the best arise out of it. So it was by design. He liked that. And there's also divide and rule elements so that no one in the party becomes too strong to overthrow him, or in the government, or whatever. There's other elements to it, but I think ideologically Hitler believed in conflict. He wanted to see that conflict within Germany, between organizations. And he wanted to see the conflict between Germany and other nations. Hitler was an agent of chaos. He really was. For all the order that Germans have, and I'm talking to you, Niagara, for all the order Germans have, Hitler was an agent of chaos and wanted that to happen within a German sensibility, maybe, but he was definitely that. Yes, on Temple Pilot, he like all elements vying for power. To be fair, modern intelligence is still very new and not developed. They didn't have much to build upon. Yeah, we can talk about that. For Britain, which I've studied some, the intelligence agencies, intelligence gathering as any sort of systematic activity, and systematic is a strong element thereof, starts really in the 18th century for Britain. I'm looking at Britain here. and they're spying and looking at the Jacobites, the alternative monarchy, the Stuart monarchy that gets deposed and is supported in France, and then by the Pope. They're spying on these Jacobites, and there is developing, shall we say, proto-agencies, but persistent spying operations to see who, trying to intercept mail, trying to see who's going into meeting the exiled king, and all this stuff. And that's growing up in the 18th century. So it becomes regularized for Britain to having agents, spying agents in the 19th century. I'm not really sure when and where, how well it happens, but it's happening in the 19th century. I don't know Germany or France or whatnot, how they're setting up their intelligence organizations and when. I just sort of know Britain's in the 18th century fairly well, and that's what we're seeing there. Okay, let's see. We have that. I'm looking here. Okay, just a deficit there. Now I know we're not training any units. The main reason is I didn't know if we had any. See, we don't really have much in the way of spare equipment. I mean, yeah, a scout car or two and a few other things, but so not even, yeah, so we're no need to train more units at this time. We don't need bigger, we need to continue. Okay, let's continue to focus on getting some of these. Well, let's, okay. I want to get these ships built and out of here, because that will free up more. And then we'll get into some submarine production. Oh yeah, intelligence is powerful. I'll readily admit I don't play the intelligence game here in either Hoi 4 or Hoi 3 well. I guess mostly I'm brute forcing things, and I just know history well enough that sort of kind of do that effectively. Don't know if I should have moved people in here earlier to get some bonuses to happen. I don't know. Probably U-boats once we get the current production of destroyers done. U-boats and transports. We only have 93 for whatever convoys we'll be doing. That's probably where we'll be heading mostly. Okay, so the Olympics hasn't happened yet, so we can't do that. Anti-Comintern Pact, treaty, 7 days. Well, we're still just in April, but we can do this a bit early. And then appoint Goering, which will get rid of, presumably, I always blank, Helmar Schacht. Sounds a bit, well, okay. Okay, it's probably, okay, it's probably gonna get worse. Let me do this. Let me put on my headphones. Let me plug these in here. Okay, that will probably do it better here. Probably you're not getting, hopefully you're not getting it now. The echo, that is.
Ihre Befehle. Bereit zum Ausrücken. Ausrücken.
Hopefully that's a bit
Bereit
better.
zum Ausrücken.
Yeah,
Angetreten.
I'm sort of in between computers right now. I'm literally building a new computer. Not at this moment, obviously. I'm streaming live here, but I'm in the process of building a new computer. So I pulled my graphics card out, that my good one that is set up to that I have NVIDIA Broadcast Studio on, and so I'm not using some of the sound canceling features. Japan abandons the naval treaty. Okay, so we can recruit another operative. Well, let's get Scorzini. Well, let's send them to. Okay. Now here's a. I don't know if this should be fixed by. So I'm not sure if this is just imported from Hoi 4 or if this version of Scorzini is a character that's from World Ablaze, but he should have a second nationality here. People, whoever I'm talking to, I'm not sure who did this. Hey Mauricio, how you doing? He should also be Austrian, because he was Austrian. So Scorzini, well, yeah, Scorzini could be around now. I think he joined the SS before Anschluss. So I think so. Yeah, let's send him down to Vienna. So he should have a little Austrian flag to help him infiltrate better to Austria. These will be useful against Allied submarines. I suggest at least a line of production. Maybe we'll see how much production we can do. Arno, I'm not against the idea. Not at all. Is vanilla? Okay. If his stats are vanilla, he should still. It should be also have an Austrian. That pretty stupid anyways. It's not like Canadians couldn't pretend to be Americans or English. Blue face smiling. Yeah. No, but it is real that there were agents recruited from other nations or had dual backgrounds, and yeah, a good actor could pretend, a Canadian could pretend to be American, but you know, a lot of them, they'll slip up with the boot things, and they'll wonder, you know, a few other keywords that'll show them up to be Canadian, but yeah. I don't. That's not the stupidest thing, you know, having particular nations that they could infiltrate better than others. Okay, currently we are increasing our oil, but we're not using much fuel. Synthetic refinery uses coal. Yeah, let's build a synthetic refinery. We'll stick it up there. Doctrines available. Okay. Okay, we only have 21. Base cost. I think we'll wait a bit on this. Nations that are very mixed in the game mechanics shouldn't. Yeah, I hear ya. It's... Developer just looked at a list of spies and chose a name. Yeah, well, Scorzini, okay. Without looking him, Scorzini was around. I mean, he survives World War II and ends up living in. Well, he does various spy things for a while, but basically ends up retiring to Spain, if you will, and writing a bunch of different works, including a lot of forewords to books. I have some books that he's written the foreword to, you know, sort of dedication to and whatnot, and very much trying to whitewash the Waffen-SS. So I've, if you will, not him personally, but his writings, and encountered him many years ago and quite often. So I don't know what to believe about Scorzini, because I think there's a lot of fabrications, including ones that he was part of. I do know that in 1936 and 1937, there was an Austrian SS element. It was entirely banned in Austria, even when they get the SA unbanned. Still not allowed to wear uniforms, but eventually gets them unbanned. That's Franz von Pappen's work. The SS is still not. The SS is basically a terrorist organization. The Austrian SS is basically a terrorist organization, if you will. And it is training to be an infiltration unit. So when they're in Germany, they're wearing their black SS uniforms. When they go across the border into Austria, they're dressing in civilian garb, not appearing, you know, as party people, or if they're appearing at all as party people, just as a member of the NSDAP kind of party people, not as part of, you know, the SS. So they were set up as that type of an organization, and he very well may have been involved in that stuff, and I don't know what the truth is there. And yes, it might just simply be picking a name, and he was a particularly good small unit commando type commander. So we know that. We can look at his rescuing of Mussolini, his special operation type units for the Ardennes offensive, those kind of things. He could do that well, we know. And I'm sure some of that is legend that he's built up too, but there is definitely a core of truth to that. So, like I say, I don't really know what he was, right offhand, he was doing in 36 through 38. Let's see. Intel tab for Hoi 4 is pretty weak. The whole espionage mechanic is inferior to... Yeah, maybe to Hoi 3. It's close. I think there's a good starting groundwork there in Hoi 4 that just is not taken good advantage of. I remember a joke strip about U.S. soldier who was trained for covert missions in Soviet Russia. He excelled in all departments. Random people in pub recognize U.S. person at first sight. Yeah. Oh, yeah. From some other novel that I read, science fiction one. I think it was something like, you know, it's really easy to fool a human in making you know, cat noises, you know, meow or whatever like this, and people will be fooled. But can you fool a cat in making a noise that the cat actually thinks it's another cat? So yeah, infiltrating a country isn't necessarily easy. Big cities obviously help, just because people don't know each other and different kind of people are rubbing up against each other. So yeah, I can't believe a country only has a handful of agents. Yeah, that's the part I don't like about this. I would have a bunch more agents and operatives. I don't know if I would make them less effective or more effective. I would increase the whole spy game and sort of break it out a little bit more from that. Hello, Harv Gamer. How you doing? Good to have you here. Harvan, or however you pronounce that game. Rescuing Yusu was not hard. The whole story was a makeup. Well, they had to find him. I don't know that that's really Skorzini's part of the operation, but they had to find him. And they had to land, and they landed in a tricky operation, I would say, and secured him and got him out. Okay, 4-year plan announcement. Yeah, see, I hear this thing here is where I would add the pictures, which is the paperclip, and they wanted to stick down here. I'd stick it across the top. But I would add this to every single national focus when it come up. I would have this with an announcement, with a an image, and maybe, you know, either a single do this because you wanted to do this, or if there was a an idea of a choice to be made, a choice then there. Let's wait just a little bit. I want to see how. Okay. Industrial research sped up. Okay, and active sonar. Okay, we're still at that. Yeah, let's appoint Hermann Goering. Yeah, let's do this. And research, okay. Come over here. We are still in May 1936. So I'm not really jumping into that yet. Let's do radio detection. Let's see if there's anything. We could do one of these. We're doing radios there. Those will be 39. Yeah, I know I've clicked on these, but I'm just checking things out. Okay, we can do the 36 class. Yeah, let's just do this 85 days. For one with, when you wouldn't micromanage area, instead set focuses for agency similar to make the whole agency system more automatic and independent. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. He was black. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Rager. I'm not saying you're wrong, I just don't know what. Yeah, I don't know how much of, play the intel game people really want to do, sending out agents, having them get caught, trying to rescue them, all that, like you say, micromanage. I'm not saying it's bad and you shouldn't do it, but I don't know. Now that, as Sun Temple Pilot has said, is what I would like to have for most of these games, is the ability to automate things. Like let's just say I did not want to play the production manager game. And I could just hit, automate it button. And then I just live with the automation. I like that idea. Now I want to play the production manager, and we're going to now take this time here to click here and go to the 222. But I want to play the production manager. But I could see some people not wanting to play the production manager, and I would be happy with that as well. So so I could see the idea of automate spies and just have an AI run around and do it. Yeah, the fog of war elements. Now you have to, the mix of agents and things like radio interception, spy planes going over are all a mix there. Yeah, exactly. And so like an element that I would automate probably a lot would be the air war. And just especially the strategic bombing and the defenses against strategic bombing. I might want to either, and the way I would do it, and again, this gets into the game I would design, I would have sort of three choices, if you will, for anything to automate. One, no automation. You just put it on manual. Two would be historical. So it would follow the historical type paths, whether in production or the air war, or the submarine, war or whatever. You put that on historical. Or three would be minister based. So depending on, say, who's in charge of the Air Force, Hermann Goering or Ritter von Grimm, he was appointed in 1945 after Hitler dismissed Goering. So he was in charge for just a few months at the very, very end of the war. Kesselring, of course, wasn't in charge, but probably would have been an okay leader of it, but not a great one, I don't think. But you could just sort of pick a minister that where you could really see the focus is do you have Raider trying to do Grand Battle Fleet, or do you have Karl Donitz? And depending on who you pick here depends on the type of naval operations you get, kind of thing, and have in the automated version. So I would have it those three basic choices, kind of thing, to set that up. Instead they outmanage. Okay, yeah, give them. Instead they have outmanage the core HQs. Yes, you're right, Beam Slam. Country's doing remind you to click on it to see it. Yeah, think spy part of the game is too powerful. Yeah, I probably weaken the effectiveness of the spy power element of the game. More detailed, spies weaker. Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you on a generally aspect there. Okay. Well, we're going to end this episode, not the live stream. Everyone can keep hanging out here. But I want to thank everyone watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please lick the like button. Even if you're watching on YouTube now live, please lick the like button. And of course, smash the subscribe button if it's red. And post comments, questions, tips, what you would want to see. And see you next time for more, yes, more Hearts of Iron. Okay, let me just save this here. Save, okay, and we'll call it Let's Play. Get that save. Part of the fun of spies is to watch random spy explode at random, read gibberish about what spies did last month. Yeah. Lick the like button. Yes, you lick it. Okay. Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 playing World Ablaze mod for Hearts of Iron 4. And of course, we're playing as Germany, the Third Reich. We're setting the world ablaze. And hey, if you're new here, please smash the subscribe button, and everyone can lick the like button. It's tasty. Trust me. Just lick it once or twice. You know, just once. It's tasty. So, we will continue here playing. We are in May 1936, and I've been looking at this very good mod. I have my quibbles with it. Some a bit bigger than others, but I'm liking this. Okay, resource efficiency gain. These things are just so effing arbitrary, but whatever. Okay, so we're getting through some of the naval production. Let's see, these submarines are about ready to come through, so let's get the Admiral Hipper class and then that done. Okay, let's look at events, decisions, whatever. See if there's anything. Oil purchases. Well, we're getting fairly filled up with fuel right now. Yep, nothing I see that we need to do there. Let's look at our current logistics. Okay, we're still trying to catch up on some of the basic production. Okay, so yeah, let's just continue here. Now, construction. Okay, so we're going to get the military. We're doing some more civilian factories. As we get more military factories, we need to look at both increasing some of the current production and starting some new. I think would be good as well. Okay, this doesn't have enough aluminum, and that doesn't have enough aluminum. Well, now we're 4 negative in aluminum, so it had been, I think, 3, was it? Poland, let's go. We'll use up a factory for that. Okay, well, thank you for already clicking the like button. Thank you. Uh-oh, Max. Getting too kinky for them. Well, I didn't think licking was sexual. I just thought it tasted good. Okay, he's tough. He's a safecracker for stealing blueprint risk. He's an infiltrator. Okay, what we're going to do here, I think, is grab him and let's start having him build a spy agency there in Britain. That always worked out well for the Germans, I'm sure. BF 110s, well, okay, we're appointing Goering. Okay, so when we get the political power, we can put in Goering. Autarky, research bonus for industry, that would be nice. Ooh, okay. Ooh, Fritz Tote. That would be useful. Yep, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do Tote. Don't know who Reinhard Galen is, or is that one of the spies? I don't know. Looking at the research air. Well, let's see. We can't really get to that until 1938, Arno, so we're gonna wait till 37 to pursue some of these other models of aircraft. And then we'll see about going up. Making the Wonder weapons definitely screwed the streamlined budget for their weapons design. Well, it depends on what you call Wonder weapons. Do you count the Sturmgewehr as a Wonder weapon? Which I do. Then I think, and you count the Panzerfaust as a Wonder weapon? Which I do. And those were very effective. Yeah, some of the others were fanciful and not very effective. That's very true. So, depends on what you're talking about. Later, the first leader of the Federal German Spy Agency. Okay, Niagara. I don't know the name. Leader of the post-war German spy. I don't know what he did in 36. Yeah, okay. I'm not familiar with him. Okay, we can do. Now let's look here. We're down on transport planes, convoy fleet. We're catching up on some of this other stuff. Some slower, some faster. It looks like that looks like it's 22 a day. Yeah, that's getting there. 44. No, artillery could do better. Fighters could do better, but these are going to be pretty bad versions of the plane. So let's do another field howitzer here. I think that will do for that. Now, yeah, let's do another civilian factory here. We'll stick it out here in the Rhineland area. He's a general in Hoi 3. Okay. These troops did a much better job. Well, I was just thinking, Max, that probably the East Germans had a more pervasive surveillance state than the Nazis did. I think we're going to save up political power so that we can either put Todt as a minister or Göring. Civilian factory, construct military factory, civilian factory. Yeah, okay, we'll elate a little bit here because we're getting a little bit of bonuses. Now, oh, well, we could do Göring right now, I guess. See, I don't think there should be this choice here, because I look at Walter Funk as simply Göring's flunky, meaning he's just Göring's puppet. So, military constructions plus 10, plus 15, infrastructure, dockyard speed. Fuel silo. Okay, maybe fuel silo will remove one civilian factory every 4 months. That's a bad element to him. Civilian construction speed, yeah. I don't get where they remove the civilian factory every 4 months. Because, yeah, I get maybe that's supposed to help build civilian or build military factories. Well, we'll wait till we'll wait a bit at least. See if we can get through some of these first 3 civilian factories first. Well, currently with this mod, which is different than the base game, these are locked. You're not building your own versions. You're building the historical versions as they see them. So, or at least designs. You may be skipping production on a particular version if you want to, but these are all locked. So they're not, and also they've locked the ships down to the historical and the tanks and other vehicles down to the historical stats. So, you can see the Panzerjäger one is way too early. The Bison you could sort of do now, and the Flak Panzer if you want to do it now, but yeah. Yeah, this is like the Black Ice, and that is historical models, which I like. I'm not saying the other's wrong. Wrong way to play it. No, hello, Mystic Froze. No, I never played The Darkest Hour. I have it, but I've never played it. So I really don't have that as a proper comparison. Yeah, I agree. It's I sort of like the historical models playthrough idea. Okay, what is small employment? Oh, small employable population. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, well, yeah, the base game is lacking in a lot of stuff, I would say, Beam Slam. Okay, we've got Organization Tote now here as that, which gets us a lot of benefits we can, I thought we would see here. Signal Company. Info bills. Oh, there it is, Organization Tote. So we have construction speeds for that up there. And we can put in Tote as Minister now, I think. Okay, Reich Arbeit Stints, Autarky. Okay, gain 1 research slot, that would be nice. Gain a bunch of synthetic factories, 35 days. Research bonus, Volkswagen scheme. Ooh, that's good too. That's why I like all these things. I focus on them way too much. Plan the first generation. Olympics, I think, are happening in July, or is it June? June, July, somewhere around there. Okay, well, it's a lot of military factories. Autarky, which opens up that, which opens up their civilian. Okay, well now here, okay, so if you put Göring in as minister, every 4 months you'll lose a civilian factory. Now if you come here for 21 days, you get 3 civilian factories. So that's a year of civilian factories replaced that you're going to lose. Okay. Synthetic refineries. Okay, that will be very, very useful. Invest in IG Farben. Okay. Steel mills. Domestic. Aluminum smelters. Good. More liquefaction. Continue autarky. A lot of military factories. More military factories. Okay, requires, okay, well, we've done that research. That's a lot. Well, these are so tempting. Let's do the Luftwaffe again. It's so tempting. I want to not be too focused on bright, shiny objects that I know I would want to do. Still running for... oh, yeah. We having problems with it, or... Okay, good. Yeah, you can watch either on... YouTube or Twitch. They should both be working, and I think actually even well, let's click this again. Maybe we can get the thing working right over on Kick. Let's try that there. Vertical industrial arm gives what? Well, we can go back and look at that. Where did we see... Okay, Volkswagen scheme. Oh, here. Vertical arms integration. Okay, it's research bonuses, it looks like, only. For industry and construction technology. Not a bad thing. Okay, let's come over here. We are still in 36, so there's... But we could push through here. That would be a speed benefit, but let's see if there's something else we can better take advantage of. Fire control systems, computing machine. Don't know that there's any aircraft in 36 we can pursue. No, we're already doing that. Yeah, you know, let's go. We'll go early on this. Oh yeah, there's lots of nice bonuses, that's for sure. Okay, so Right. We're going to build a convoy fleet. Let's do at least that. Basic industry. Good. Now, get 100% bomb damage vulnerability, production growth. Now I'm going to do this first because, see, this won't help us until we're being bombed. So yes, we want to do this prior to, you know, the war breaking out, but we don't need to do it right away. Where here, this will grow our efficiency. Okay, now, this would help us with political power gain. He would also, again, I would say he should be available now. That would reduce our political power gain, either one of those, or him would really reduce our political power gain. Don't know why Tote would reduce that, but supply hub, construction speed, which will be very useful, radar, which will be very useful. Some of the others, I don't know how useful. I mean, how many nuclear reactors or naval bases we're going to build? Maybe a few, but not huge numbers, I don't think. So, I don't know why he would be draining political power. I mean, I get game mechanic thingy, but so let's do him first. Get him in to offset political power drain. I also think the lateness that some of these spies sort of show up at and the time it takes to build up organizations makes them a little less useful. But yeah, they may be overly well, we could wait on this a little bit more. Which of gamers' viewers are more drunk? How interesting topic here. Okay. Is gamer better viewed sober or drunk? Okay, well, let's see. Monitoring. Very nice. And race which grants industrial research speed down, construction, civilians, factory repair speed. Okay, those are good, and I think generally historically, but we're gonna go with this. Let's go with the Volkswagen scheme. You're supposed to get the girlfriend drunk, not yourself. Okay, now we have... Okay, convoy fleet in August. Well, let's do another line here. That way it's now in... Okay, so... What about every 10 or 15 days or whatever, 10 days or so? No, 15 days. We'll be cranking out a new fleet. And now that something else is completed, let's come here and type 7A. Not the best on submarines, but let's do this. And let's get to a full branch once we can, and we'll be cranking out submarines. Is that storm? Okay. Well, we see some rain here. What you're talking about. There's definitely weather effects going on. I don't know if there's a storm per se. Okay, nationalists declare war on Spain, so now we have the Spanish Civil War. Okay, I'm going to guess that it's 3 divisions.
Zuhören!
Let's... Oh, how good is our
Zuhören!
template? Not bad, not bad, all things considered. So, let's create a formation with you.
Angetreten! Angetreten!
Now, get there, and let's grab an infantry division. Let's see if we can do all of this. This is my first look at some of the choices here. Okay. I hope there's more historical ones coming. Just looking to see who we have to send down there. Well, we can be unhistorical and see about sending Guderian. Now, of course, I do have NATO counters selected, but they're not giving me those. Now, let's see if we can. Oh, we can't send volunteers. We need world tension currently at 4%. What? Now, maybe this will allow us to do that. Okay, yes, this will probably allow us to do that. Okay, so we've got to wait till, unless we want to cancel this, we're going to wait to get that done, and then we can send off that. Hello, Flexible. How you doing? Esports streaming War Thunder. Well, not today. I'm not streaming War Thunder. War Thunder will be tomorrow. I don't know that it's esports, but War Thunder will be here for tomorrow. Okay, well, let's... I'm sort of a little worried about that. Goering minus 1 civilian factory every 4 months. we'll have a chance to get a lot of synthetic refineries. Let's do another fuel one there with that, and here. Okay, so we've just done that. Now we're gonna, you know, Arno helps out a lot around here, so we want to keep Arno happy. But I wanted to keep Arno happy, but let's come over to research. And we've got 8 days left, so we're going to wait 8 days. And then we're going to start building some destroyers. Yes, it's definitely a learning curve, and that's why I went through, I don't know if you were here, Sun Temple Radio at the beginning of the stream, which you can watch either as part of this stream or just go back to the first episode. I looked at their sort of little tutorial thing on the changes that this game makes and whatnot. So it is different than the standard game. I do like this. This is a positive review. I will complain about things, but like I say, good. Okay, do we want to do that, or well, do we want to push a little early on some of this other stuff? Again, I don't care about camouflage factories at this moment. I will later on, I'm sure. Okay. I'll do that. There we go, research finished. So now we have a new 1936 class destroyer. And we'll get a few more once we get that done to put it more in production. So we'll have transports, we'll have subs, and we'll have destroyers in production. Okay, we're not yet able to research these. We need decimetric radar and basic fuel tank. Well, okay. Oh, well, let's I think here, where's basic fuel tank? There we are. There's basic fuel tank. Let's research this. Okay, well, there are, I'm not saying it's enough, not saying it's everything we'll need, but there are a bunch of like Reichswerk, Hermann Göring, synthetic oil refineries, steel mills, aluminum smelters to be done. So I don't know how much of this I need to do. And again, I will say this, we very well may play this game and run into it without, like Uncharted, sometimes he's been able to be here and really walk me through some of this stuff, which is very helpful. I may run into a brick wall and just collapse because I didn't have enough fuel refineries or whatever. I found problem with Hoi 3's black ice. So, but I think we will just sort of look at, well, you know, well, we can't do that yet. We're still doing radio technology. We're going to need to come through there eventually. Well, Okay, I can't. Well, this isn't a bad point to put one in. I was thinking I would increase the supply hub. Okay. Okay, maybe here. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. Sources. So you're standing with basic resources. Don't quite get that comment. Inflexible. This is the sound of the old chair from time to. Oh, back. Oh, yes, the old chair. Yes. No, I have a nice new chair that doesn't make noises. Remembering the old days and the old videos. Yes. Ah, yes, the raiders, the covert raider vessels. Yes, supplies go from the capital to the hub and then from the hub. Yes, I understand. But I was just looking to see if there was, or how to increase a current supply base level. Because when I clicked here, I built a new one, fine. But I wanted to like increase this to like level 2 or 3 or whatever. I don't know. I do really like the new railway system. That is a much improved setting. Okay, well, yeah, let's put Panzer IIs in production. Let's just get 2 factories of, oh, we're getting a bunch of factories. Let's get 4 factories. So we'll have Panzer IIs and Panzer Is in production. Concurrently, let's look at our other logistics here. Okay, heavy anti-air, we're positive, slowly, not really growing there much, but artillery, we could use more artillery, we could use more anti-tank, but artillery's a little bit more heavy artillery. We're catching up with the rifles and the support equipment. So, let's go over to 5 and do that. That will get us a little negatives here. Let's, okay, we're down on aluminum, mainly for the support equipment, I guess. Let's go to trade. Well, Poland isn't giving us all that they should be, so let's, man, so again, I don't know why they've nerfed out the aluminum from Hungary. That seems wrong. Let's go to 0 to them. Let's see if we can go to 9 here. And have an actual positive. Okay. Hello, Jason West. How you doing? On map, press F4. It increases it. Okay. Olympic Games have happened. Okay, good. Ah, okay. Up. Okay. Thank you. Motorization level supply. Okay, thank you. So we're having a bottleneck coming through somewhere through here. Right, okay. Okay, so now that we did that, they will upgrade. Okay, cool. Now Hanover, Berlin, it seems like a very heavy upgrade, but all right. Very good. Thank you, Jason. Thank you very much. Can't you ship the Panzer ones, or would it be better to have too few? Okay, you see now, here's the thing, and what I think they're getting right with, though sometimes I think some of this build is a bit slow to build, to build up efficiency on some of these designs. I would have the efficiency build faster, but I like the idea of if you were to, you can't just change this and be 100% efficient. And right now, I would rather be having extra Panzer ones coming in. Along with trucks and everything else, so when I start building tank divisions, I'll have tanks. While those are producing now effectively currently, we are starting productions of Panzer IIs, so they'll get up there. Then we will see if in time it's worthy of doing it. We very well might. This is too early to do the Panzer Jaeger one, but we could do the Bison, which is the 150 millimeter infantry gun, or a flak Panzer on it. So we could reutilize these vehicles. Now here these don't get to be upgraded, where these sort of do. I guess that'd probably be too many to do, so we may be stuck with some of those. So we might try doing some of the research variants if there's a big enough pool to make it worthy of doing that. And we can see here, some of the various things. So we'll do this, and we'll see how this works out and whatnot. So I want to have a mix of production right now. He still hasn't made dinner yet. I don't know what he's going to make, Starstreak. Yes, and so also in time, we can see about, okay, again, let's just how to illustrate this best. Probably the Panzer ones should be stopped at a point. But do we want to, say, never stop the production line of Panzer IIs and just convert it either, to first production instead of reproduce or rebuild Martyr IIs, or the they just made a handful. I think it was like 20 some the 150 millimeter guns in reality for North Africa, exclusively used in North Africa, and this is the flak Panzer. But they did, which I'm not seeing here, which would be the 105, the Wasp, was based on a Panzer II hull. So I'm surprised that that is not here as a vehicle. Let's see, the Stug variant, Hetzer, the Grill, which is the 150, and the flak Panzer 38. But you would also have the Martyr 3, which could be here. I know that this is just, there's only 4 things here. I just put it right down below there. So if you had a good production line going there, you know, if it's too early to do the martyrs, you could do, I mean, the Hetzers, you could do the martyrs. You got the Stugs. So, okay, Martyr 3. Martyr 3, like I say, is based on the 38T. And the Wasp, well, okay, see now, so the Panzer II Loesch, and this may be a real easy jump, but it was a mechanically very different vehicle than the Panzer II. So I guess it's sort of here, but like I say, this should be part of that, and the Wasp. So having multiple production lines of tanks and various things, I think, will be good over time. So that's okay. Thanks for showing up, Max. Saying hope to see you in the future. If you hopefully you followed the channel and all. But yeah, yes, Panzer II's had a 20mm cannon. I see that. So yeah, okay, so we're building up our rail, getting some connection out there a little further forward. Obviously these aren't in production yet, but they'll get there in time. And we are waiting on them getting the Condor Legion to be able to go down to Nationalist Spain. And our air units, maybe they've changed the basic size. Now it looks like they're still stuck at 100. No, that's 200 tactical bomber wing. Well, we'll see what we can send down to Spain. Okay, Condor Legion now. Let's see, send volunteers. Okay, well, limit 1. You have 0 division. Okay, total limit 1 by the number of their provinces. Okay, that's interesting. So this is different than I'm used to seeing here. The size of the force that we can send to Nationalist Spain currently is limited by their number of provinces. So, well, I'm going to move to Darien in charge, and we're going to unassign that.
Angetreten.
Click there and unassign that. And we're going to just go with a Panzer division. Oh, I wish they never had this damn turquoise color. Well, let's just go sort of a yellow for cavalry divisions. Start with just sending that, and we want to celebrate the Olympics now that it's happened. 14 days. Off he goes. Yeah, we're going to send the Panzer Division down there. Now let's take a look at the template for a Panzer Division. Okay, that looks like a pretty good, little tank heavy maybe, but pretty good division to send down there. So, yeah, okay, I'm happy. meaning it should have a significant impact on the battlefield. Wait till the Olympics is done here before we excavation. All right. What year? Okay, 37. Running out of things I can research without having a lot of lead time here. Penalties. Okay, guess we'll do that for now. Okay, so in celebration of the Olympics, very good. We can modify that. Well, we'll worry about that in a bit. Where did we come ashore? Where are we? Where are we? There we are. We're down there. Okay, we're going to get on trains, and we're going to come up. I want to clear out this Balboa area first. Let's...
Ausrücken!
There we go. Just get up there. Okay, now we don't need Reich Commissariats formed right now. We could use the Waffen-SS, maybe. Anti-Comintern Pact wouldn't be bad. Tank Doctrine Reduction. And Technology Panzer 2A. Maybe we should have done that first. Okay, let's do this. Okay, now, well, I am worried about putting him in charge because we're going to lose civilian factories, plus civilian factory production speed will be really slow. Where if we spend it now here, we'll reduce political gain by 10%, but factory output will be increased. Spear, which won't happen until I was completed that focus. Maybe we do a material designer first. Okay, naval aircraft. Well, we're getting ready. Air research speed. Fighter production cost is probably what we want to reduce the most. Daimler Man. Heavy tank, armored car, scout car, yeah, they corrupt, that's right, Hellcat. Assault guns, yeah, that looks good. Appropriately. Oh, I'm not sure. Okay. More political power gain. It's going to be a big hit. He's good. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. Both. Okay. Army experience, land doctrine, tank doctrine cost. But do we need these now? Yeah, it would be good to get these now to build up that. Okay, so we're here. Let's drive to there now. Just a second, I want to check something here. Yeah, hold on just a second, guys. Okay, yeah. I think it's time to end this episode, not the live stream, but the episode. I want to thank you all very much for being here. Really appreciate it. See you next time for more, yes, more Hearts of Iron. Okay, now that we're getting ready for Spain, I just sort of wanted to start this on a new episode here. So, I'm getting a lot of this sound coming through here, and I don't like it so much. Audio, so, effects volume, let's go down. Yeah, that's better. Make it sort of a background noise, a bit more. Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745, and we're playing Hearts of Iron 4's World Ablaze mod, and we are now intervening in Spain. We are going to try to keep the Reds from taking over Spain. I don't know if there were really good guys in the Spanish Civil War, as opposed to just simply choices between bad and less bad, or bad and worse. I'm definitely an anti-red, but that doesn't mean that everything that the nationalists did was good either. Now, what I want to see also about doing here is send air volunteers. Okay, so let's send these guys down to Spain. Where do we want to base them out of? Some of these airfields are mostly full. They're fairly empty, but they're way in the back. Well, I guess to here. And let's send these guys down to here. Okay, well on the way. Okay, plan the first generation. Now, all right, well, I needed to do this to unlock some of these other ones, but I should have done this before researching the Panzer II. Okay, so since I was wanting to see if this came in as being, you know, fully efficient, and it isn't, so we'll just leave it with that. We can do the mechanical research bonus for that eventually. Okay. So many military factories, more military factories, all 35, 21 days. Or do we do autarky, which will open up some of these other, let's do autarky. Has our air power arrived yet? No, not there, here. Okay, let me get up there and do air superiority missions. Many choices, it goes faster, yeah. And no, I don't trust the AI to clean up all these pockets. That's why I'm going to do it. Basic infrastructure, good. There's something wrong with this because it Looks like they're missing some of the rifle animation here. So it looks like they're having a little metal tube that they're somehow working a bolt action. That doesn't seem correct. Okay, autarky, good. Let's do that for extraction bonuses. Okay, Kingdom of Italy took 3. Oh, finally! Ethiopia has capitulated. Well, right, I hadn't been paying attention, but Italian East Africa has been formed. Okay, engine-powered vehicle winch, very nice. Hello, Azads, how you doing? Okay, now we have these we could do early, which is good. We'll wait maybe on that. Let's do that first. And let's look here at submarines. Okay, well, I think we will come over here and do this. So Kurt might have. Yeah, I don't know the German well enough. I'm sure Niagara is understanding your German just fine. I do get hello, mein Kameraden, but join the fight. Haile Selassie speech. Bought PC Gaming Hearts of Iron 4 too. Oh, so you're finally playing it. Well, good. How are you liking it? Now, this is with the World Ablaze mod, so it's a bit different than the base game. Basically a total sort of conversion thingy, but yeah. Oh, we could do the Dutch trade thingy. Let's do that. Try to catch up there. Okay, get the Hermann-Göringberg done. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's takes time, that's for sure. 70 days, do I want to do 70 days right now? Yeah, we'll do the Kriegsmarine, get that going. I was trying to organize up a multiplayer game, but mostly nobody wanted to actually show up to play it. Everybody wanted it to happen, but nobody wanted to show up and play it, so maybe we'll get it organized up sometime, figure out a day and date and time and whatnot when people can show up and play. I was wanting to use this mod that may have chased a few people off. Come on, get in there, get in there. You know, and take command, defeat these guys. How are they not just collapsing under the might of a panzer division? Oh, I don't know that you would play it yet. I mean, you'd be welcome if once you figure out you're comfortable with it, Azads, but I'm just saying in a general idea, trying to promote up. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Keep fuel coming in. Uh-oh. They captured Skorzeny. So, in Austria, they captured Skorzeny. How did that happen? Oh, let's see if we can capture the cipher. Prepare. Alright, everything German. Yeah. Very, very good to start as maybe something other than a major power. Yeah, I don't know. I mean... Okay. Come on, keep pushing it. Yeah, not just pushing that far ahead just yet. Well, we may wait a little bit for that. Okay, so we've got that. Cooperation with Japan. Yeah, we can do mutual assistance, I think. Yeah, that's a decent idea. Playing a Latin American country, just basically stay out of the war and build yourself up economically and militarily. Now, of course, the best plan is to watch me play my brilliant games of great strategy and just learn from them. But okay. Can wait just a little bit more for the anti-common turn, maybe. See, this is something that really didn't happen. Nationalized German arms industries. Other than the Gustav works, which were nationalizing Simpson and Sons, which was a Jewish-owned firm, armaments firm from before World War One. And it was nationalized because it was Jewish. I don't know of any major nationalizations, really. I'm not even sure at the end of the war some of their various plants, you know, their underground factories for various aircraft models and whatnot, if they were really nationalized or just still under various company control. So, I mean, yeah, we'll do this at some point, but that really didn't happen, as far as I can tell. Oh yeah, World War II history helps, and AZ has that generally down enough to play the game, I'm sure. Okay, we'll give you time to get organized back up. Sign one of these guys. Let's see who. Oh, here's one instead. Division recovery rate. So we'll give him his theater commander here. Do faster. Oh, well, now he's attacking us. Oh, how's that happen? Okay, up to Panzer, which will help us reduce some tank doctrine. Okay. Come back over here for the goodies. Expand domestic mining. Okay, this will get us a lot of iron. It looks like some tungsten. Okay, so we're going to do this. Very much part of the 4-year plan. Okay, January 1. We'll start with this. We'll come over here. We're in 1937, so we're not facing deficits of production time now. Okay, we're getting through some of this. Let's build another fuel silo somewhere. Yeah, we can stick it out here because we're getting this one filled up and we want to continue to do so. Do you remember this mod that implements a mechanism of the Spanish Civil War? It can't tanks around wherever you want, but it's advisable to attack places where Franco has chosen to target the attack. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Amazing Rudiger, Not sure on the mod you're talking about.
Auf geht's!
I just want to clear out this whole Bilboa front here first before pushing down anywhere else, because that'll hopefully free. Now I don't know why are they needing to occupy this from revolt risk. Let's see if we come down. Resistance. Is it going to show us this? No. It's resources. Not showing us that. Okay, so I'm not quite sure why they're guarding this bit of coast here. Okay, so they finally got that. Now, let's come down this way here. I want to cut off various parts of Spain. No, he got removed. Why is his picture not showing up here? That's weird. Bug or just some weirdness? I don't know. Yeah, let's bring Tote into the picture here. Clear the northern right as it was in history. However, pay attention, for example, the border provinces in the south where you see huge penalties for attack and movement. Well, very good. What I'm thinking of trying to do is cutting off, well, coming down along this river here, one side or the other, and cutting off Catalonia up here. Let's see now. Send volunteers. Okay, still limited to one division. Okay, we can do more. Well, 1937 developments. And I think we will do excavation reef. Okay, okay, didn't quite get the other language stuff, sorry. I'm an American, I'm limited to a version of English. Okay, okay, we've got that. We're not going to do that just yet, but that should get us. Oh, well, let's, before we go any further, we need more bauxite. But we have a lot more aluminum factories which we can allow to go into hibernation, I think. Okay, let's stop that. Let's come over here. Let's reduce that. See how all this equalizes out. Oh, what do we have here? Prepared, okay. We can't commence when ready. Oh, that's the one I wanted to do, I think. Yeah. I gotta put a second one on him, but he's in. Okay, so we can't use him. Guess we can use him, which takes him off of that. Okay, so this increases economic fatigue, so we're going to save that for a little bit later. This will get us 8. Military things. No, I have not had any divisions training Centuple Pilot because, well, until just recently, we've been in such a deficit of things like artillery, like heavy artillery, which we still are, but also infantry weapons and some other basic and support equipment. We've been in a negative situation that I didn't want to introduce more divisions until I caught up with production. Okay, we are here now. Improved machine tools. Now, I think I'm going to send you over here because this is plains. So my tanks will do better fighting the plains than fighting in the mountains. So we'll go that way. Okay, well, let's see. We can start improving. Well, oh, well, maybe. Okay, weapons contracts. Then let's see. Air doctrines, air bases, tactical bomber. Okay, let's wait a few days. Let's wait a few days. And first I'll come in and block this advance. Okay, now let's counter it because they're assaulting across the river. We're going to counterattack here. Maybe Franco will join in. Well, it's already pushed one division out. Okay, good. Now we're going to be bold and aggressive. Hopefully Franco will follow in. Okay, well, computing technology, radar technology, those are nice. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, more production, good, because we got those 8 more factories. And again, we can that will help with our artillery deficiency. We have a deficiency in strike bombers. Which is the strike bomber? Why? Oh, we need more aluminum. We need a lot more I thought we had plenty of aluminum. We don't have plenty of aluminum. Okay, we need more bauxite, it looks like. Let's do that, and then we will see about increasing that. There's a little mod which makes models about the same scale. Okay. Back to here. Is this the strike bomber? Yeah, it probably is. Let's increase that by 1. And we can do this by 1. I know we're going to hopefully get more aluminum coming in very soon.
Zuhören.
Okay, well, we've cut them in half now. Franco can just get his act together. Now we're going to get cut off, it looks like, because Franco won't get his act together. We were too bold, too aggressive. Okay, now we've got to sit here and starve while Franco figures out that I'm cut off and I'm your best chance of winning this game here rapidly. This is not going to go well. Oil processing, good. Okay, we're going to continue to wait a little bit on that.
Achtung!
Okay, we've lost all organization, and we've just lost our armored division. Wow, spectacular. Now I overplayed that, but okay, well, let's come over here and form this up. Who can we assign? Oh, Guderian, what do you know? How do you know? Okay, Commander on Rundstedt. Okay, they're going to take a little time to get there. Okay, well, we lost a panzer division. I lost a panzer division. I was overly aggressive. Send volunteers. We will send that. Okay. Now let's look at supply map here. Well, we're still getting the Hanover to Berlin area up. Good. Maybe that should have waited for later. Probably. I don't know. Yeah, let's build some military factories. We're gonna wait a little bit on things like radar stations and whatnot. Events may overtake some of this. Okay, well, now what we should do here is, I think, is reactivate aluminum smelters. Okay, now we are all green. All green. Well, first major defeat here. Okay, so we just got 2 fronts, so a lot more air bases. Good. Now what I was looking at was getting some of the computing technology and radar technology, but Let's also grab this up, I think. Maybe we should have done that first. Well, guys, major defeat. Well, big enough defeat. Lost 1/3 of my panzer divisions. Which means, well, we have lots of trucks, lots of stuff, so let's actually put another one into training here. And we're back in Spain again. Why do they keep sticking me? No, they didn't stick me in the south. They got them up here. Okay, good. Well, the plan was good, just not coordinated well enough with Franco to do it. Yeah, Beam Slam, because it is currently our best aircraft here. I'm trying to get some bonuses for fighters to come down. We can want to maybe get some bonuses to do the early BF-109s, but yeah, we're still in that production at this time. Well, I think we're going to end this episode here. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please lick the like button. It is tasty. And if that subscribe button is red, meaning you haven't subscribed yet, please smash it. And I love hearing your comments. So if you're watching later, please post your questions, tips, hints, suggestions, whatever. Love hearing from you. See you next time for more, yes, more Hearts of Iron. Okay, let's save this. Okay, guys, well, it's been about 4 hours and I'm getting hungry. And so I think we're going to end here for today. Always leave them wanting more. So we will be continuing this next weekend. Tomorrow will be War Thunder. So if you guys want to show back up for that, I would appreciate it. You can join us and play if you want. I hope Arno will be around and Niagara will be around playing, and maybe even Starstreak will be around and we'll play. And if anybody else new wants to join in, would happily have you play some War Thunder, drive tanks and whatnot from World War II. So, and then be back next weekend. So hope it was fun for you. Yes, thanks Flexible, Sun Temple Radio, Beam Slam, Arno, Niagara, Amazing Rugger, hopefully I'm getting that correct. Anybody else here? Azads. Scrolling back up here. Sun Temple, if I haven't already said that. Starstreak, Jason West, Arno again over on everything else. So thanks everyone. See you next time tomorrow. Have a good day or evening.